Two of the greatest treasures in this life are tea and hiking. Telson Tea, a gem of a loose-leaf tea shop in Mount Horeb, is bringing you both. They're hosting Tea on the Trail, a free group hike with tea and treats on a section of the Ice Age Trail, the Cross Plains segment. That's on Sunday, May 24th, light rain or shine, from 1 to 3 p.m. You can expect some ups and downs on the trail, but not too much elevation change. Event registration is at Telson, that's TELSAAN.com. One of the holy grails of yearly bike rides is coming up. Loop the Lake is on Saturday, June 20th, starting and ending at the Eastside Club on Monona Drive. Gear up for an at-your-own-pace 13-mile ride around the gorgeous Lake Monona. You'll get food, beverages, a t-shirt, and, of course, local pride. Kids 10 and under ride free with an adult, plus proceeds benefit Clean Lakes Alliance. Register today at cleanlakesalliance.org/loop-the-lake. This is CityCast Madison. I'm Bianca Martin, and here's what Madison's talking about. Today, how do you reconcile the head and the heart? Obviously through poetry and science. It's a high-level craft that the Wisconsin Academy of Sciences, Arts, and Letters performs regularly for our community. Tomorrow is their biggest event of the year, a performance and conversation with the 23rd U.S. Poet Laureate Joy Harjo, which I'll be moderating. So who is this major connector and intellectual resource in our midst? I'm here now with the Academy's Director of Arts and Fellows, Tiffany Rodriguez-Lee, to find out. Tiffany, welcome to the pod.
Thank you. Hi, Bianca. Thanks for having me.
Yes, I'm so excited for tomorrow. Like, I can't even explain. And I know you are too, because a lot of work has gone into what's coming.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And we're going to talk about it. But first off, what is the Wisconsin Academy? And what do you all do for Madisonians and folks across the state?
Yeah, I have to say, you came highly, highly, highly recommended. So we're so excited to have you moderate tomorrow. So thank you for accepting. Yeah, what is the Wisconsin Academy? Let's start with the big question, right? I think a lot of people are actually surprised to learn that we have been around for over 150 years. And really the entire time we've worked to connect the people of Wisconsin with incredible ideas and things that are happening. We're actually the only statewide organization that is sort of dedicated to this exploration of what's happening at the intersection of science, art, and culture at the same time. In my opinion, I think we do it in a pretty cool way. We're really just looking at ways to help people across the state in Madison and outside of Madison. How can we help people connect with each other, find common ground along the way? And I think that leaning on those pillars of science, art, and letters, which makes for a really long organizational name, but leaning on those pillars is a really human way to connect people across difference. And in some of this programming, that we'll talk about, I've learned that the people of Wisconsin have a lot more in common than they think. And maybe things seem a little fragmented at times, but it's programs like this and other humanities-based organizations that are really showing how much we all have in common.
Honestly, I myself was surprised to learn the 155 years that has been happening here. And I came across the Wisconsin Academy. I'm a little embarrassed almost that I didn't know you guys. And maybe I've already interacted with your work. And that's we need to get them on the show because it is this space. If I were to say my favorite things, it is the intersection of science and the arts and literature, right? It's all of the things that you said. And y'all really caught my eye this year with your event back in March at the Monona Terrace, a part of your Finding Home series on the topic of what it truly means to call Wisconsin home. So if folks listen to the March Guide, that's what I was talking about. And y'all featured, some of your fellows, including Richard Davidson from the Center for Healthy Minds, one of my neuroscience rock star heroes.
An icon.
An icon. Yeah. So I picked this. I was like, this is a must do for our March guide. And can you talk about the series Finding Home? Like, what's behind that and that selection for this year?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And thank you for that shout out. It was so fun. We had some heavy hitters on that lineup. Yeah. Richie Davidson, Kathy Kramer, and another, Madison based fellow, and Karen Ann Hoffman, who's actually an Indigenous artist and beadworker from up north a little bit in Stevens Point, John Gerder from Milwaukee. It was a really cool panel. So thank you for shouting that out. But yeah, what Finding Home, it's really vague, but it's also perfectly vague. It's so important and so meaningful. It was really born out of this desire that we had at the Academy to kind of move beyond the where of Wisconsin and start interrogating how, why do we belong here? And that seems a little otherworldly, but when we're talking about a theme of which to kind of guide our work, we realize that home is really one of the most powerful and complex things that we all share, especially in a social climate that feels fragmented sometimes. So this theme, I think, really allows people to open up space for dialogue. Home is this universal entry point where we can really bring people together at that intersection of ideas that you'll hear me talking about forever. And bringing someone like Richie Davidson to talk about well-being and the finding home in yourself aspect alongside of artists and historians, it was a perfect example of leaning into that multidisciplinary exploration that we do so well and taking a look at how art, culture, and science really shape our sense of place, our sense of being, our sense of belonging. It was a really great time. And I think it's a really, really interesting and important theme to talk about.
It's intellectually so juicy for all the reasons that you just laid out. It's also so deeply personal and simultaneously so collective because the idea of belonging, you can belong by yourself, but the people you're around, your community, and bridging those connections and why we belong to each other, those are fantastic questions.
They're big, and they're juicy. I love that adjective. They're really juicy. And, something that we do throughout our programs and events is we really try to make sure that we're not just preaching to the choir, right? We're bringing people into rooms and into spaces where they're going to learn something different or they're going to hear a perspective that maybe they haven't considered before. And so that event and other events like that are really a big win for us, helping people see Wisconsin as home through this larger lens that maybe they haven't before.
Right. So there's so much overlap. CityCast Madison, what we're trying to do on this show is connect Madisonians to one another. So this is the amount of synchronicity here it runs deep. It runs deep. And I am just really thrilled to say that y'all invited me to moderate your largest event of the year. Thank you so much. It means a lot. That's tomorrow, Thursday, May 21st, with let's get and talk about her, the 23rd U.S. Poet Laureate, writer, creator, musician Joy Harjo. What an honor. For those who are just hearing about this event, who is Joy Harjo and what should they be expecting?
Who is Joy Harjo? Even just your introduction gave me goosebumps, so I'm going to be a wreck tomorrow. Joy Harjo, literary icon, 23rd United States Poet Laureate, the first Indigenous poet to hold the title. She is a masterful writer, musician, author, reader, everything, artist. She started as an artist, a visual artist. So she's incredible. We're so grateful to have her. And I'm so thrilled to have you join that conversation. I think it's just going to be the event of the year, if I do say so myself. I mean, what a beautiful opportunity, right? To just be moved and feel in community with the people in the room and the people attending online. I think it's going to be really special. Yeah, it's at the Overture Center, starts at 7, doors open at 6:30. Come listen to some extremely moving poetry. Our friends at Room of One's Own, I'm going to give them a shout out. They will be book selling on site, and you can get your book signed by Joy after the event. So it's going to be fantastic.
It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be powerful. The presence will be potent.
Yes.
And I really appreciate your point that y'all are intentionally trying to bring folks into spaces where they're not just hearing from the same folks they hear all the time and sort of the echo chambers. What was it behind the choice of Joy Harjo and the sort of subject area and her lived experience that y'all were hoping to provide for the audience that comes through?
Yeah. I mean, okay, I could talk about this for days, but I'll keep it light. I could tell you how much I personally love Joy as a writer, but I think for us at the Academy, the answer was like objectively clear. Every year we try to, we bring in a splashy speaker. We had the amazing birder Christian Cooper last year, the year prior, Ada Limon, who was also a poet laureate for the United States. And thinking about finding home, it was extremely clear that we cannot acknowledge or understand what it means to call Wisconsin home without centering the Indigenous perspective. And so I would say, it's not just part of the Finding Home series. I think it's crucial to it. And at the Academy, we work really hard to champion independent thought, that learning new things about each other and civil discourse. And I and the rest of the team really recognize that Indigenous voices offer the longest standing relationship with the landscape that we live in. And Joy's work specifically really helps us navigate the history and not just the past, but like living, breathing connection to the land, to the world, to each other, and to this place that we call home. And so, yeah, how do you talk about the intersection of science and culture and history without thinking of her lens and the way that she opens up dialogue by honoring, the ancestral and contemporary presence of Native nations? I mean, it was just a no-brainer.
And this is a statewide activation. Can you talk about that? Like what's planned? There's a live stream, right? People are going to be able to access it pretty, everywhere, anywhere. But you also have additional events planned for this night and performance.
Yeah, we've tried to be really, really thoughtful and intentional about, one, how iconic Joy is and how many people should have access to her presence, right? I mean, what a landmark opportunity. And so because our work, we're based in Madison, but our work is statewide. And so one of the most intentional ways that we can ensure the entire state feels connected to, truthfully, our biggest event of the year is through watch parties. So we are hosting about between 5 and 6 coordinated watch parties throughout the state tomorrow. So we have people from Wausau, La Crosse, Door County, Viroqua, and Beloit tuning in live. These organizations are official watch party hosts, so they'll be joining in to a live stream of the event that will be streaming from Playhouse Theater. And some of these watch parties are hosting their own events. And so it's like an amazing opportunity to gather in your own community. Some folks will be hosting their own pre-events, like local open mics and poetry readings leading up to the 7:00 live stream. I love it. I think it's an easy win, and it's a really wonderful and beautiful way to connect with people all over. If you're feeling a little FOMO, you can still also purchase an online ticket through Overture's website, and you can stream yourself from home. Or if you're in one of these areas, join a watch party and gather with people and get goosebumps together.
Yes, yes. When I heard that, I was like, we got to get you on the show so people know just how big of a deal this is. Because I hear that frequently just walking about Madison and being in community. People are like, major folks come through the city to do events, and sometimes they get missed. And, and this is just really exciting too, that it's activating writers and poets and the creativity. It's not going to be isolated to this room. It is activating the state, which is super, super dope.
Yeah. And thank you for that.
Yeah. So, man, the goosebumps are real. And if you don't know, if you can't feel it, how awesome this event is going to be, I hope you do now, and just tickets are online if you want to get them. I just can't wait myself. I was gonna go regardless. That was my plan. So now I get to be on stage for a little bit and be a part of the combo. Okay, I want to broaden the conversation to the Finding Home series, like the larger series, and that I mentioned at the top. Have there been other highlights that you want to share, or some of the programming at the Academy over the past few years that, kind of highlight what we've already been talking about?
Yeah, the Academy does an incredible job, I think. And you mentioned before, like, oh my gosh, I feel embarrassed not to know, about the Academy, and that's okay. I live in Wausau, and I just learned about the Academy only a few years ago, and it was through the Ada Limon event. So as a poet myself, I was like, wait, Ada Limon's coming to Madison? That's only 2 hours away. And my organization at the time hosted a watch party, and then I learned I had the same light bulb moment as you. I was like, they're doing everything that I'm obsessed with. It's an incredible org. So don't feel embarrassed. And anyone listening, look us up. There's just some really great stuff. So Finding Home has been really powerful. So we've been working on this since the fall. It's going to sort of run through the rest of the year, and then we're cooking up some stuff for 2027, but we've had some great events. So a couple of things of note. Poetry and Pie, super fun. It's a free event that we do every year in Eau Claire at the Ellie Phillips Library, where we celebrate Pie Day, March 14th, with poetry. So we had a couple of Wisconsin-based poets. One was Max Garland, the former state poet laureate. He's also an Academy Fellow. Shout out to Max. He read, a couple of other poets read, but we have free pie and people listen to poetry. And over 160 people came.
Wow, that's a great event.
People want to gather, they want to gather and they want to be together in these spaces. So that was really exciting. You mentioned the Fellows panel in March. That was an incredible highlight. And then we have the sciences, which I think are just as important as everything else. So I might not be the scientist myself, but I love the way that we weave arts, we weave poetry, we weave the literary art into everything we do, including science. So this past spring, there was a great event at the Mead Library in Sheboygan that featured an Anishinaabe photographer and night sky advocate. His name is Travis. He and one of our other fellows, who is an expert in astronomy and teaches at UW-Madison, Bob Matthews, they held an event together and shared images of the night sky and had that art aspect, but also talked about, indigenous star knowledge mixed with modern astronomy. How does that shape our sense of belonging? We've had some incredible exhibits inside the James Watrous Gallery. James Watrous Gallery is inside the Overture Center. That's the Academy's art gallery. Warren King just had an exhibit called Homecoming, which really explored his, Chinese origin and his family's journey to the suburbs of Wisconsin. I mean, talk about finding home, right? It's been a really good route and lens to work from,
Absolutely. I'm just so excited hearing about all of the things.
It's so much, but when you distill it, it really makes sense. But sometimes when I tell people all of the things that I'm doing, they're like, wait, what? How do you? It's no, it works together,
Yeah, it's deep like that, and it's accessible like that, and people want to have their pie while they have their poetry,
while they're crying to a really sweet poem about Chippewa Falls. Who does it?
Right, and just taking the time to honor our physical landscape. I think in a time when we spend so much of our energy in digital landscapes, which they have their moments, but the majesty of our universe, it I always start to feel like Neil deGrasse Tyson when I start talking. It's have you seen this waterfall? And,
right.
Around the sciences, I saw you guys have also done stuff about why native mussels are important to the waterways and rewilding your lawn and all of the things that make you feel more connected to this space and this home. And this is totally unrelated, but Beyonce's Homecoming. I'll just throw that out there. Just
hey,
why not? I love all the things that I love.
Gosh, we should have booked Beyonce.
Yeah. Next time, right? So, I mean, it really sounds like one of the life forces of the Academy are your fellows, really. And I'm really fascinated because every single person just was bringing so much to the table and such a diversity of voices. You also have a musician. Can you talk about your fellowship? And you've already shared a few of your fellows, but any ones that you haven't mentioned and just how y'all select fellows?
Totally. I'm really glad you asked about fellows. They really serve as a guiding light to some of our work. And we try to integrate them into our programming as much as we can because they're truly this brain trust, right? They're some of Wisconsin's brightest, smartest, most creative folks, and they should be proud of the work that they do. And what an incredible resource for the Academy to lean on when we're thinking about programs and thinking about getting into spaces and different communities that maybe we haven't before that deserve access to some of these programs. Our fellows are from all over the state. And so they also provide that tangible introduction into communities that do want to partake in our work too.
Cross-pollination.
Yes. It's we've got over 100 living fellows. We've been honoring fellows since the 80s, and they come from all walks of life geographically and in their work and in their disciplines and in their careers. So we have a pretty rigorous process. Every 2 years, nominations are open and public. Anybody can nominate somebody to be a fellow in any of our sort of pillars, right? Thinking science, art, letters, but that's visual, that's literary, that's medical, that's, astronomers. It's a big one, right? They go through a selection committee that is chaired by a fellow. There are fellows on the committee. There's also Academy board members and folks of that nature. And we nominate a cohort every 2 years. We just announced our 2026 inductees. We'll be celebrating them in October at an induction gala. But I'm going to take a deep breath after Joy Harjo first, and then I'll start planning that.
Totally.
but a brief breath, but a good one. And they're just these groundbreaking people who have had a deep and meaningful impact on Wisconsin. And I think that there are so many fascinating and intelligent people in the state, but what the Wisconsin Academy's Fellow Award does is, I think, cranks it up a notch and says, okay, this person is an incredible, incredible artist. What have they done in their work that has impacted the lives of people living in the state? That's the caveat, right? So, I think that really helps us because, oh my gosh, you get these applications and you're ranking incredible person and incredible person, right? What sets them apart is how have they impacted the lives of people in Wisconsin? And the range is crazy. So 2026, we are inducting folks like Dr. David Andes. He is this global authority on infectious disease. And then we have Melanie Talmadge Saints. She's an Indigenous artist and cultural educator. And none other than Larry Mealer, who we all love, legendary broadcaster. Jason Yee, a visual artist in Milwaukee. It really creates this statewide network that unites urban Wisconsin, rural Wisconsin. It really just embodies everything we do, I think.
Yeah, and the reach of individuals who have a certain depth of impact. Their reach, they have impacted so many lives, and using that authority, using that, trust to connect people. I don't know how you could even do it better.
Exactly.
Yeah. And hey, I just realized this recently, but you guys have multiple leaders who have already been on this show at the Academy. So directors at the Academy, Dexter Patterson, the Wisco birder, writer Jessica Becker, now you, y'all are really, you're doing such great things in our communities. And, I know you're a poet yourself, as you mentioned. You were the City of Wausau's poet laureate, and you're bringing that experience and artistry and sensibility to your work. Can you just share how you personally feel connected to the Academy's mission?
Yeah. Oh, I love that question. Thank you. Yeah. I haven't been writing a lot lately, but I'm inspired every day. And so I feel grateful that I get to do this sort of work. It's a privilege to do this sort of work every day for a living and aligned so well with my ethos and the things that I'm interested in. And as a poet, come on, right? So for me, serving as the director of Arts and Fellows means from this poet lens and artist lens, I get to sort of look at things deeper than this like calendar of events, right? It's how are we opening space for people? How are we championing independent thought, diverse voices? I think having me in Wausau is a great choice. One, I love it because I don't have to move my family and I get to visit Madison all the time. Come on. But I see and hear things that are different and alike from, urban centers up here in Wausau. In my writing, I write and talk a lot about my culture and heritage as a Puerto Rican living in a state like Wisconsin, right? And so I get to bring that lens to every program, every initiative. Is this work and what we're doing truly representative of all in this state? And it's a helpful lens to work within, I think. And it also just keeps me connected to the stuff that matters.
I love that. I mean, it's very evident. It's being shown through the work. It's being shown through the voices that you all are elevating. And like, I'm excited to hear about your work and to hear from you and your perspective growing up Puerto Rican and
Yeah.
in Wisconsin in the small, I grew up, half black in Baraboo, a small white town. And like, it's different and you see different things and being in communication with each other is just so important. And I understand that the Wisconsin Academy also supports the Wisconsin Poet Laureate program and that you guys do annual writing contests for Wisconsin writers and poets. So it's really, elevating so many individuals to further that connection and deepen our connections with each other.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's really important that we have these programs and we have these initiatives under our belts to really further the work that we're doing, establish credibility in different communities, right? And make sure people do understand that the work we do is intentional and is really meant to bring people together. And yeah, all of the programs you've mentioned are really like tangible physical ways that we can do that.
And so what's on the horizon for the Academy? You said that you've got the big event coming up for inducting, but are there other things cooking? And obviously tomorrow's evening with Joy Harjo, but are there other things cooking, things we should be keeping in mind for the Academy's work in the coming years?
Absolutely. Yeah. Like I said, we're going to take a quick breath and then dig right back in. The Finding Home sort of series, initiative, what have you, will kind of last and trickle throughout the rest of the year. We are already prepping for what the theme for 2027 is going to be, and that's going to surround water. So we're going to talk about water. Let's talk about water.
For people listening on this show, sometimes I'm like, actually, maybe the most important thing in Madison is our lakes.
Period.
At the Dutch period.
Period.
Yeah.
Yes. So I'll leave that teaser. More to come. But for now, we have some really cool exhibitions that are up celebrating the work of contemporary Wisconsin artists. We have Tom Mantell, an Indigenous artist who's showing right now in the James Watrous Gallery. His show is called Democratic Vistas. It's incredible. I'll let it speak for itself. So you Madison locals, please go look. On the other side of the gallery, alongside of Tom, is a show titled Gospel Love Heart by Romano Johnson. He does some work, if you're familiar with artworking, which is where he does his painting. And so it is a fantastically colorful, vibrant exhibit. We also have some water and climate summits cooking in a statewide arts project that's water-based as well. So I won't give away too much, but more to come.
I'm so excited.
You can't live in Wisconsin and not celebrate water. Water means so much to artists. It means so much to scientists. It means so much to writers. Finding Home has been powerful, but I think the next best thing is diving into water and how important it is to all of us.
Diving in. Well, I could talk to you.
No pun intended.
No pun intended. I could talk to you forever. But before I let you go, outside of us talking about the Academy on this show today, how can folks stay connected with the Academy's work? Watrous Gallery. We talked about that. Go check that out.
Yes. See the James Watrous Gallery inside the Overture Center. But also our website, wisconsinacademy.org, is the best way to kind of just take a big look at upcoming events and initiatives. Stay in tune with what our fellows are doing, and on socials, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. We're pumping out content. Right now it's pretty joy focused, but more to come.
Yeah, I love following you guys. Honestly, there's a lot of great stuff on your Instagram. Tiffany, thank you so much. I can't wait for tomorrow.
Me too. I don't even have words. I'll just start crying. So thank you.
That's Tiffany Rodriguez-Lee, Director of Arts and Fellows at the Wisconsin Academy of Sciences, Arts, and Letters. That's all for today, here on CityCast Madison. I'm your host, Bianca Martin. Don't forget, you can support the show and get great perks by becoming a CityCast Madison neighbor at membership.citycast.fm/Madison. And if you enjoyed today's show, why not share this episode with someone who likes their intellectual curiosity scratched in just the right ways? It's that deep. All right, we'll be back tomorrow morning with more stories from around the city. Until then, take good care, and I hope to see you tomorrow night.